Tagovailoa is set to make his first NFL start this Sunday as the Dolphins host Aaron Donald and the Rams. Tua has had a bye week to prepare for his first start and has gotten high praise from teammates all week during practice. So, Shannon, what do you expect from your guy, Tua?
Well, I expect him to show the accuracy. He was the most accurate quarterback in college history, so I expect him to have that on full display. Now, he doesn't have an easy matchup because on the front end, he has Aaron Donald, who's the best defensive player, one of the top 5 players in all of football. And then on the back end, you have Jalen Ramsey, who's playing unbelievable football right now at the cornerback position. So he has his work cut out for him. But if I'm Tua, Skip, the biggest thing for me is to get out of this game healthy, because we haven't seen a guy have this kind of injury. It was just, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, it might have been a year ago, maybe a little less than a year ago, that he suffered this catastrophic injury. And here he is already back starting in an NFL game. So I expect for you to see the accuracy, even though he had the injury, that forced the Dolphins to take this young man with the 5th pick in the draft. I expect him to do that. He has an extra week. This tells me, Skip, no matter what, they were going to Tua week 7, week 8, no matter how good or how bad Ryan Fitzpatrick was playing, because I thought Fitz was playing well enough to maintain this job, especially over the last 3 weeks. But Brian Flores says, no, we have a plan. This kid, we took this kid with the 5th pick. He's our future, and maybe not this year. Maybe we don't win the division because we inserted him. But moving forward, we believe this is the best thing for the football team. So I expect the accuracy that I saw at Alabama throughout his college career to be on full display. And so if he can come out this game healthy, you'll see, Skip, you'll leave this game says, okay, I know why they drafted him with the 5th pick. I know why Brian Flores inserting him into the starting lineup. He will show you the skill set which made him so highly thought of.
Shannon.
Yes.
Your man Tua is in a tough spot this Sunday.
He is.
I do not envy this spot he finds himself thrown into, because the young man taken 1 pick later, named Justin Herbert, has been shockingly sensational so far.
He has.
I didn't see it coming. You didn't see it coming.
Nope.
A lot of people didn't see it coming. Justin Herbert is averaging 308 passing yards a game. That's 3rd best in the league. He's 12 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. And he's played biggest against the best, because against Brady, they leaped out to a 24-7 lead at Tampa, and he had a QBR of 88 and made 2 big throws for touchdowns of 53 and 72 yards. And then against Mahomes, he had a 78 QBR, not bad. Took them to the wire. And then against Breeze, he had a 72 QBR. So against the best of the best, he was
He played his best.
Pretty best, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that just heaps pressure on Tua, as did, ironically and shockingly, Fitzmagic, because Ryan Fitzpatrick just won 3 of his last 4 starts. And 2 of them were off-the-chart starts. Against Jacksonville, he had a QBR of 97, scale of 0 to 100. And then at San Francisco, a big shocking win for the Dolphins, he had a QBR of 99. And then they beat the Jets, no big deal, but they beat him 24-0. And Ryan Fitzpatrick threw 3 more touchdown passes. And we got to see Tua a glimpse in mop-up duty, and that was it. Bye week, thrust into the starting lineup against, as you pointed out, the Rams. Tied for 3rd in sacks in the league. Could be better than that, because they come after you like the Eagles do, like the Steelers do. Mm-hmm. And it's not just Aaron Donald, because, man, it's Leonard Floyd, and it's Michael Brockers, and it's Greg Gaines. They come from everywhere. Mm-hmm. They're tall and long and rangy coming off the edge. And you point out Jalen Ramsey's playing some of his best football. Man, that's a tall order and a tough spot for Tua to step into, with some injury question marks still, to use a Halloween term, haunting him. You still don't know exactly what you got. You think you're 100%. You're not 1,000% sure, because have you been rocked like you might get rocked in this game by that pass rush? No.
And
You have not.
And that's the thing, Skip. Okay, the doctors tell you you're healthy, but guess what? The doctor hadn't seen you take a sack. The doctor hadn't seen you get landed on.
No.
And so that's what they're going. That's what he needs to get landed on, Skip, and say and get up like, okay, yeah, I'm okay now.
Yep.
I'm okay now.
I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised if they moved the pocket because Skip, he can throw. He's very accurate from the pocket.
I agree.
But Aaron Donald will get you off that spot.
Yeah,
so if I'm smart. Yeah, Skip, if I'm them, I'm going to move the pocket earlier so I don't let Aaron Donald get a key on exactly where I'm going to be because he's coming. He's coming.
And I told you before the draft, my biggest issue with Tua, God bless him, I'm knocking on wood for him, is that reportedly he had 5 different surgeries while at Alabama. And only the last one was what you'd call career-threatening because it was the hip. But still, 5, what is Shannon Sharp, the Hall of Famer? What has he always taught me? Hurt in college, hurt in the pros, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you got that going against you. And then there were 3 games in his career where it just gave me a little cause to pause, where I just sat back and said, I don't know. First one was that 2018 season SEC championship game against Georgia. He just unraveled. Maybe it was because he was hurt. Maybe his knee was bothering him. But he went 10 for 25. And he threw the 2 picks, and he got replaced in the fourth quarter by Jalen Hurts, who took the game over, and they won it 14-0 in the fourth quarter on to the championship game. And then Tua did not play great in the championship game with 2 more interceptions, QBR 59, sort of middling. And then against LSU last year in Tuscaloosa, he put up big numbers, but he was just barely over 50% completion. I don't know. I never was as sold as you are, but when he's right, when he gets in rhythm, he is deadly accurate.
Right.
But then my final issue was he was throwing to an all-time track team of receivers. I don't think I know Clemson's had some receiver classes,
right?
But when you had 2 go in the first round this year, and 2 are definitely going to go in the first round next year. And the running back you were flipping it to is going to be a first-round pick this coming draft. My goodness. I mean, doesn't that, and obviously the offensive line's just an NFL pipeline. Doesn't that make you look a little better than maybe you might be? That would scare me.
Well, it definitely helps, and I think the thing is, Skip, is so he's used to throwing the talent, and I think that's what really helped Joe Burrow, is that when you look at it, Skip, you look at what he was throwing to, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, those 2 receivers, Jordan Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
They're very good.
And you look at Marshall. Marshall has averaged 2 touchdowns receiving every game he's played this year, and he returned. I think that the biggest thing for me, the only concern that I've ever had with Tua, Skip, was injury. It's because he's really never started and finished the season. At some point in time, he's gotten nicked in every season that he was a starter. So I think the thing for him is to have someone land on him and get up and be like, man, I'm okay, and then go right back out there and start playing. But he has a very tall order because the Rams, as you mentioned, are very good defensively. They got the best defensive player in football, and they got Jay Ram, who's playing out of his mind at the quarterback position. So he doesn't have an easy task. Yep. But Brian Flores says, look, if we drafted you because we believe you're going to be the future. So you can't duck and dodge talent. You can't duck and dodge. Well, the Rams will start him the following week when it's a less formidable opponent. No, they're going to put him in there against the fire, and if he's what we think he is, he'll be just fine. Okay, so just to wrap this up, and I don't want to jinx the kid, but just to reiterate for those who have forgotten, at Alabama, broken left index finger on his throwing hand, required surgery. He had a knee sprain that I think required a scope, reportedly. Then he had the 2 ankle sprains that required that tightrope surgery on either, on both ankles. And then, of course, as we know, dislocated right hip with a wall fracture in the hip. Not great. And I hope he will stay healthy, but I don't love his chances this Sunday because this is a tall order to start your career against. Yep, Barry.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Tua. I'm crossing my fingers, as you said, for a healthy debut and a strong debut. Now, this Rams-Dolphins feature in this